You take just last week, and we've done $30,000 worth of jobs, and that's profit, right? That's not net, that is gross. I closed on Thursday, was a 70 square roof that we're doing an entire re-roof, new gutters and new gutter guards this week, dude, this week in 7 days. And it's like, that's where I'm like, dude, you don't understand the levels to this game. Generating leads and generating quality leads are two totally different skill sets. But my observation has been that homeowners are really pulling back and not receiving door knocking as well as they did in the past. If you're in business to make money, you need that volume. And I cannot keep up with the digital side of things, no matter how much I hustle, how quickly I get through these appointments. Whereas when we started working with you is when you showed us, hey guys, here's the metrics, here's the back end. This is actually our cost per lead. This is what we're generating. These ads are working, these ads aren't working. But again, when we started working with you was when the quality of leads went through the roof, and most importantly from a business standpoint, the return on investment, the ROI went way up. I mean, you give people my number, have them call me, I'll show you the books. I mean, this is real. We have receipts over here. Yeah. So my name is Zach King, owner of Simply Roofing. We're based out of Pawleys Island, South Carolina. We opened up shop about 2 years ago. Past experience was just working in sales previously with a roofing company, and kind of decided after dipping my toe in the pool there that it was time to move on and try something for myself. And that's just what we did 2 years ago.
Generally speaking, like what would you say what were like the main ways that you would generate like leads or get roofs on the door, close jobs, or even still to this day?
Yeah, so we were using the tried and true method that a lot of roofers use, which is just door knocking. We had limited experience in marketing. We had tried one company previously, but it felt like kind of a waste of time, waste of money, which is something, you commonly hear with roofers, is that advertising is a waste of money. We spent this and this. And, what I learned through that process is, of course, just like in roofing, not all companies are built the same. And so, again, to backtrack a little bit, we had used a company for Facebook marketing previously before we met, of course, Noah. And the leads, of course, it was kind of funny, right? Because these companies call you and they say, hey, we're going to give you a guaranteed 30 leads in a month, 40 leads in a month. But what I found with exploring that is generating leads and generating quality leads are two totally different skill sets. There's going to be a lot of companies that are going to be able to generate leads, which are just going to be names and phone numbers. Now, if you call that person 30 times and they don't answer, seems to be kind of the status quo with a lot of that. Versus when you get quality leads, of course, you get leads that are actually motivated to buy, motivated to meet with you at the very least. And so what we found when we transitioned from the previous company into working with you, of course, the biggest thing is that the quality of leads changed. So funny enough, the volume of leads was about the same, but we roughly went from maybe 1 in 10 people answering the phone to now I'd say an average of 2 out of 3 people we're getting in contact with. You're always going to have some drop off no matter what with this style of advertising. But again, when we started working with you was when the quality of leads went through the roof. And most importantly, from a business standpoint, the return on investment, the ROI went way up. With the previous company, after being with them for 3 months, we broke even at the end of that 3 months, which anybody that, knows marketing, knows business, knows that is absolutely not what we do it for. We don't get into business to break even. So, of course, when we onboarded with you, everything just changed, man. Everything changed.
Okay, man. So like back to like what you were doing, like even like apart from trying any marketing. I mean, obviously, you said okay, you tried like a couple companies, then you tried me, but apart from like what do you feel like is, I guess, like in this new day and age, like how important is it to actually have like marketing and lead generation going, as opposed to just like I'm sure there's like a lot of roofers just doing like door knocking, like just out of your
Yes.
perspective with your business, like what made you want to like
Yes.
I guess move into marketing or lead generation in the first place?
Yes. So everyone sees it, everyone knows it. You pull into 90% of neighborhoods and they've got this no solicit sign that you're seeing. And I've also noticed that, again, it's hard to say because I'm not the end all be all, but my observation has been that homeowners are really pulling back and not receiving door knocking as well as they did in the past. You have, again, we don't have an individual at home anymore. We have households where husbands and wives both have to go to work. So you're also seeing this limited window of people even being home if you are out there and are a door knocker. What does everyone have? Everyone has one of these. They've got a cell phone. And what can we do on this cell phone is we can advertise to people and reach, rather than I can go into a neighborhood with 100 homes, and of course I can guarantee to knock 100 doors and possibly generate a lead or two. In that same exact time frame, I can publish an ad on Facebook, and that ad will reach 10,000 people in that same day. Now, people will make the argument, of course, well, your conversion rate may be higher at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be true. Yeah, your conversion rate may be higher at the door, but I would love to see anybody that could tell me from a volume perspective, because let's not get, this misconstrued. Volume is what makes money. And, if you're in business to make money, you need that volume. And I cannot keep up with the digital side of things, no matter how much I hustle, how quickly I get through these appointments. There is nothing faster and is going to reach more people than digital marketing. It's just the way that the future is going. Again, you see more no solicit signs and you see less people going out and being outside and being really friendly about being outside. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
love it, but I can't control it. I don't make the rules. I just play the game. And so, yeah, digital marketing has really just allowed us to have much larger of a footprint than we organically could going into these neighborhoods
Yeah,
knocking doors.
100%. I mean, with like the other companies, I guess you tried in terms of. I mean, they did something similar. Like there's like billion marketers trying to sell you like
Yes.
Facebook ads, and we do this, we do that. I mean, that's kind of like what I talk about on my channel a lot, right? It's like just digging into like the details on like why Facebook ads work brilliant for some companies and why they don't work at all for others. So I guess like what's your thought on that? Because you went through some marketers, so I guess
Yes.
what do you feel like was like different from just not only the results but also like how they were doing things in terms of running the ads and that kind of stuff.
Yes. So most marketing companies we worked with, I would say that their attitude was, we know better, trust us. Just get us still images. These will work. These have worked for the past 10 years. You don't need to do anything different. Whereas when we started working with you is when you showed us, hey guys, here's the metrics. Here's the back end. This is actually our cost per lead. This is what we're generating. These ads are working. These ads aren't working. And then on top of that, again, you introduced us to the videography side of things, which we're actually recording the video content, which, as we know, I know the viewer doesn't know this, of course, but those ads have performed really, really well for us. We're getting a great cost per lead. And then to double dip into the cookie jar, not only are we getting a great cost per lead, we're getting a great conversion rate off of a great cost per lead.
Mm-hmm.
And this was stuff that was not monitored with the company previously. Like I said, it was, hey, no, you're the roofer, you roof. We're the advertising company, let us advertise. And so that just created a disparity for me because, again, I'm a hands-on guy. I like to be a part of the process. And one of my favorite things about you is that, we started working together, I guess about 6 months ago now. And for that amount of time, we have had a call every single Monday at 9 o'clock. You have not missed the call. You were there promptly every time at 9. And for me as a business owner, that's important because in one week, things can happen. And there was no communication from the previous marketing company that we had worked with. And so, in this week, I can look at things that are happening. I can go to the appointments that are being scheduled through Facebook, and I can get back with you and I can say, Noah, okay, this is the adversities that I experienced with these customers. And then these customers were a total breeze to work with. Is there any pattern here? Did any of these leads come from a specific ad? And in some cases, we've seen where, oh boy, this ad is really, really doing well. And so we direct our attention to that ad specifically. Whereas, again, the previous company, it was just, hey, here's your leads, take them. Whereas I just love that you've always refined the process and been willing to
Yeah.
work with us to refine it.
100%. I mean, there's always two parts to it. Like, obviously, you can always talk about generating better leads and all that, but that's something I want to go into in a second too. Like, there's obviously a back end too. Like, that's really important to have the tracking, to have the communication, and to be able to make appointments, not only show but also close appointments. And I mean, they can be like really different. Like looking at like for example online leads compared to like referrals, there's like a huge difference. So I guess like I mean, 3 months and like well over 100 leads later, like what do you feel like are your main takeaways when it comes to like running online advertising? Like what are some things that you wish like you knew when just starting off, like going into this, and what would you pass on? Like let's say there's like a roofer out there who's considering to get online leads started, or maybe they just haven't had luck with it. Like
Mhm.
what I guess what are like the main takeaways you would tell them, like things that realizations you had over the past 3 months?
Yes. So for me, my biggest takeaway is that advertising and marketing is a process. It's not something that you blindly throw money at and just accept what you get back. That
Mm-hmm.
it's super duper important that who you work with on the marketing side, on the back end side, is plugged in and involved. And I think that's probably a bigger problem is that their marketing companies are a dime a dozen when you look at how many are out there. And the reason that is because they're kind of a lot of companies just ripping each other off of using the same ideas, repackaging it, and then trying to sell it to people that are very hopeful, of course,
Mm-hmm.
that it will work. And so for me, when we first started out, it was like, all right, I'm going to spend 5,000 on an advertising budget. That should generate 15,000 for no reason. I don't know why, but I'm just assuming if I'm spending this money that there'll be some sort of return on that investment. Whereas when we started to work together was when I realized that, okay, this back end refining, this constant pulse, if you will,
Yeah.
on what's going on has been the biggest determining factor for, again, if the marketing company you're working with is changing nothing, then the quality of lead and the type of lead that you're going to get is going to consistently
Yeah.
be the same. Whereas from start to now, our lead quality has progressively gotten better and better and better. And that's 100% hats off to you because you listen to our feedback. You don't ever think you're the one that knows it all and has it figured out. And so, yeah, to go back to your question, that's the biggest thing that I wished I would have known is that really when you get with someone who knows what they're doing, like yourself, then you can actually refine it down and say, okay, within a margin of error, I can invest 5,000 here and get 20,000 back. Once you have got a certain hold on your market, like you understand what your market is looking for, you understand what advertisements they're looking
Hmm.
for. I mean, there's been multiple ads that we've done that we've,
Yeah.
even shied away from, but that's part of the process. And
Yeah.
that's part of where even you yourself, I know just last month, it was like, man, it's a weird, it's kind of slow this week. What's going on?
Hmm.
You got together with me. You said, hey, Zach, we're going to relaunch these ads. We're going to make some tweaks. Trust me, trust the process. And I did. I trusted the process. And you take that was just last month. You take just last week, and we've done $30,000 worth of jobs, and that's profit, right? That's not net. That is gross profit. And for what we've invested, that is almost a 10x return. Any marketing company that can get you 10x is pretty awesome, I would say.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of things there. So, obviously, like, I agree. Like, first of all, like, I think going into anything, like, obviously, there are those, like, lead aggregators where you can say, okay, let me buy 10 leads, see if they're good, not good, okay, throw them in the trash, I go to the next one, just
But
do this, okay. Oh, we close the job, cool, maybe they're good, let me buy 10 more, and then all of a sudden they're shit again. Like, the thing with that is, like, it's never going to be, like, very consistent. Like, if you actually want to build something in your business, in your roofing business, that you want to last, like, that you want to scale, like, I think we have pretty big ambitions here. Like we want to scale your company to 3 million, 5 million a year plus. And I think if you want to reach that level with your roofing business, you got to have something where you can decide to turn the dial up, double the budget, and just consistently get results and just know your numbers. But in order to get there, it's not easy. Like if it was easy, there would be like a
right,
trillion roofers in any market that would succeed. But the reality is that a lot of people say, yeah, Facebook ads sucked. I tried it, I tried this, I tried that. It just doesn't really work. And the reality, like there's really two things to it. So the first one, out of the perspective from a roofing contractor, like you can't expect to change your business overnight by somebody reaching out to you telling you we get you 20 jobs or you don't pay. It's going to be like it might very well be like a painful process in the beginning, like to just start something up and just stick to it, and just trust in the process, and have somebody that actually knows what they're doing, and then just improve, like Zach just said, like just one step at a time. Like the lead quality just got progressively better, and that's not by accident. So I think when marketing really becomes a skill, and that's like the pandemic right now. Like you see on Facebook, like a trillion ads saying like $6,000 for a new roof. That's crazy. It's like the same kind of like copy that people just download. And there's like, and I'm young myself, like I'm 20, but there's like people out there, like they're like 16, 17 year olds, and they just get sold the dream of, I can make a lot of money by selling marketing, but they don't put any effort into it. Like they go on the ads library and they just download ads, they copy to copy, plug it in for other roofers. If it works, cool. But probably not longer than for a month or so, and then it drops off. If it doesn't work, on to the next. And that's like the real like bad mindset, because where marketing becomes a skill is looking at data, knowing what that data tells you, and making iterations so long,
right,
like however many iterations it takes until you get to a point. Like it's unreasonable. You literally can't not succeed if you do it like that. It's just common sense, because there's companies like Zach, out there right now that are making a ton of money from Facebook ads and other marketing, and the only difference is that he actually gave it like a fair shot, and we actually made those changes until we got to that point, right?
right.
So that's like,
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing, yeah.
To reiterate on a big point that you touched on is that it's so important to understand that working with a marketing company is symbiotic.
Mm-hmm.
Both parties do have a responsibility and do have a duty in that relationship. And I think so many people, they just write the check and then go, all right, marketing company XYZ, where's my money? But we had to be very plugged into this process. You have to care. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
let's not, skim over that. You need to go out, get the content. If you have
Yeah.
roofs going on, take pictures. This is your proof. This is showing your customer we're working not yesterday, not the day before. We're working right now. And
Yeah.
so I just want to like hammer that down. That's a lot of big things that I see other roofing companies do is
Mm-hmm.
that they don't take it seriously themselves. They let just the marketing company take it seriously, but that's only half of the relationship.
Yep. Definitely. I mean, I think like also like when it comes to like obviously making it succeed, I think there's like a couple things. Like a lot of people that just get into it, they come in with an expectation of, like, okay, somebody's gonna do my Facebook ad, so I'm just gonna get like referral quality leads, like leads that come in that act like they've known me for 10 years, and I close at 80%, and it's just like a breeze, and it's easy, and every lead is perfect. But that's just at scale. That's not the case. Like there's no marketing system out there, no marketer out there at all that can give you 100% perfect leads. It's all a numbers game. Like it's about having a solid cost per lead, a solid booking rate, a solid show rate, solid close rate, and just getting good leads that like Zach just closed like a 55 square roof or whatever. So that's like where the actual profit is being made. But that process can be hard, like especially if you've never worked any of those like I guess online leads. So talking about that, like what do you feel like in terms of like closing people, like say like actual sales advice, but also like how you treat a lead when it comes in? Like we obviously made like quite a transformation from the beginning until now. So what do you feel like? What are your main takeaways when it comes to that?
Yeah, so the lead, of course, if I were to take a lead from day one and compare
Yep.
it to a lead that we got yesterday, the skepticism of the lead is way down, and then the seriousness of the lead
Yep.
um, is way down. And well, I guess I should say way up. So basically, when we step on site,
Yep.
and recently with these Facebook leads, these people are already what I called in the buying mindset. They've already made the decision to
Yep.
buy. Whereas when we first started out, and I think a lot of roofing companies go through this, they play what's called, I call it just the estimate game. It's where you show up and they want you to do the horse and pony show, and they say, all right, I got four other roofers that have either
Mm-hmm.
come or are coming. You're just an estimate in the mix. And you can't get rid of that. Those type of people always exist, but that made up a bulk of what it was in the beginning. But then slowly but surely, we started seeing like, okay, well, this person spent a little bit more time with me. This person asked me a little bit more questions about who I was. They cared who Simply Roofing was. They cared who Zach was. And so that conversation, that door for the conversation was opened, and we got to be, for lack of better words, a little bit more intimate with our customers. And everybody has a different, selling style. My selling style is I like being intimate with customers. I like having that deep dive of knowing who
Mm-hmm.
the person is. I want them to know our company and why it's important to work with us over competitors. And so, that message has been a lot easier to deliver recently to the leads. And so, with working together with refining everything, the lead quality just shot through the roof.
No, but I mean, a lot of this is also like just data related. Like I told you, like from the beginning, like it's like if you were to launch ads on a fresh ad account, like you might be lucky, but like Facebook just doesn't know who you want. Like Facebook's just gonna
Mhm.
start off by, okay, you need leads, so I will get you leads, and you will get any leads. Like obviously by running like a landing page, adding some friction, having like quality ads that attract quality people, like that all helps and it can work right away. But sometimes it just takes like a bit of data to warm up because like after we sold a couple projects, booked like a lot of appointments, like that data can be sent back to Facebook, which can obviously like signalize Facebook, okay, those are the people that we really need to go after. So after time, like like obviously one component is like always trying to create new ads and just looking at the data, adjusting things in terms of targeting, in terms of ads. But then also like it's also a time game, like just gathering enough data to where Facebook knows who you actually want. Um, but yeah, I like what you like the sales side of things. I mean, it would be way too long for this video to go into all the sales things. I know you're very very
Right.
good at what you do when it comes to sales, and you got a lot to tell people. So I don't know, like you can everyone that's
So,
watching this video, you can let me down below in the comments if we should do like another video that's just like only about sales. But um, I mean, yeah,
And so definitely trust the process. I cannot stress something more than when it pops off, it is like, holy cow,
yeah,
we can't keep up with it. I mean, that's the past
yeah.
2 weeks. I mean, we have 7 roof installations that are going on just next week. And mind you, a year ago, we were doing a roof every 2 weeks.
Very interesting point. Like the analogy that I always like to use with people is that like let's say there's a machine that you want to have, and that machine you can put $1 in and you can get $10 out as many times as you want. Like that's like everybody would want to have a machine like that in their business, right? But I mean, it would be foolish to think that it's like that you can just like look at the next market on the corner and just get something started and just have that machine right away because everybody would be a millionaire. Like there's a cost for
Right.
that machine. Like there's something like there's an amount of money that you have to pay in order to acquire that machine, and it's not like you have to pay $10,000. Like for some people, we start
Right.
things, and they get they close roofs within the first month. For some people, it takes a bit longer, but either way,
Right.
like it's something like if you're serious about growing a business and as a business owner, like you shouldn't look at like you shouldn't look at the money that you reinvest into the business as a cost. You should look at it as an investment. Like especially if you're doing something like this, if you
Right.
give it a shot for a month and if you spend let's say $3,000 and then you say it doesn't work, then you lost $3,000. But you could
Right.
also, and I know that's hard because I mean you just see the bank account going down, like, and it's like you a lot of times like people probably start getting emotional, but that's like the quality that you got to have as a business owner. You got to see the bigger picture, the whole picture. You got to see the progress,
Mhm.
and then like it. You would lose money if you stop after a month. It's kind of like this meme where somebody's like like digging through like I don't know, like with his little pickaxe, and then there's like that much left until they hit like all the diamonds.
Right. And then they
I'm gonna show
stop.
it to you. Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you in the
Yeah.
video. But and then they start like turn around because they think, okay, this doesn't work. When you're really like that close to making something work, like again, like
Right.
it's like every roofer and their grandma would have a system like that allows them to scale their business to millions and millions of dollars if it was that easy. But it's not. Like you gotta
Right.
invest. You gotta invest and you gotta trust the process. Yeah.
100%. And I mean, there's a reason that not all companies get to be successful. And there's a reason that you have certain groups of companies that it's seemingly that they rise to the top very quickly. And it's really that what I've found is it boils down to, there is a term called scared money don't make no money. And
Yep.
to not be cliche and be silly here, I mean, that is the reality, though, is if you're scared to invest your money to make money, this process will be
Yep.
difficult no matter whether you work with you or whether you work with anybody. You've got to be comfortable putting that money up. But again, this is roofing, right? I mean, we regularly see jobs that are close to a
Yep.
$10,000 profit margin, depending on the area you're in. What in what world do we live in where we're not going to invest 3,000? You get
Yep.
one roof, and you can break even at worst, right? At best, you can swing the needle desperately. I mean, you mentioned the 55 square, but there also was a 70 square roof in there that was closed. And so, the potential is there. I mean, give people my number, have them call me. I'll show you the books. I mean, this is real. We have receipts over here. So yeah, it works. But again, it took, I mean, when if you want to roll back the clock to when we first started experimenting with Facebook advertising, you have to roll all the way back to January, right? So I mean, I've got experience dealing with this since January, and it took from January to about 2 months ago, about September, for it
Yep.
to really generate work. Now, to clarify, I wasn't working with you the whole time, but I mean, even still, tens of thousands of dollars
Yep.
spent on marketing and saw nothing. Started working with you, and it changed everything with that.
So
Yeah.
best takeaway, just start working with me right away instead of going through the other companies and save yourself a ton of money.
Yes, I just
No,
saved a lot
but
of money.
it's really like, yeah, it's obviously about finding something that knows what he's doing, and that's why I like to upload those videos, because like there's so many marketers that will tell you all sorts of things, but they have nothing to show for. And
Right.
I want to explain like how this stuff actually works, why it works for some companies and why it doesn't work for other companies. So if you go with me or with somebody else that you 100% trust, then just do that. But don't go with anybody that just doesn't know what he's doing, because you're gonna burn through a lot of unnecessary cash. And
Right.
when
Well,
it comes
you need
to
to be able to close. Let's not look over that, right?
right,
You got to be able to close. But
yep.
as you mentioned, we can talk more about that in another video.
100%. We're gonna record a part two if this video is gonna land good. If there's a couple people, couple roofers, or even like general contractors out there. I mean, it's all like relatively similar. That would like some content on sales. Like maybe you're running your own ads right now and you just haven't figured out like the sales game. Then let us know. Maybe we can make something work.
Mhm.
But yeah, for now, is there any last thing that you would like to say to any roofer out there that's watching this video right now?
No, man, just invest until it hurts, and then keep investing. That's it.
All right, man. Cool.
Yep.
Appreciate you for
Thanks,
doing
Noah.
this. Yep.
Yes, sir.